Here is a thing that's wrong with all of the how to be happy shit that's been shared 8 million times on a Facebook in the past few years. Here it's what nobody realizes about all of this is a crap. Desire for more positive experience itself a negative experience, and paradoxically, the acceptance of one's negative experience is itself a positive experience. This is a total mindfuck. So I will give you a minute to unpresil your brain and maybe read that again. Wanting a positive experience is a negative experience, and accepting a negative experience is a positive experience. It's what a philosopher Alan Watts used to refer as a backward law. The idea that more you pursue feeling better all the time, less satisfied you become, and perceiving something only reinforces the fact that you lack in it in the first place. The more you desperately want to be rich, more poor and unworthy you feel, regardless of how much money you actually make. The more you desperately want to be sexy and desired, the uglier you come to see yourself, regardless of actual physical appearance. The more you desperately want to be happy and loved, and lonelier and more afraid you become, regardless of those who surround you. The more you want to be spiritually enlightened, the more self centered and shallow you become in trying to get there. It is like the one time I tripped on acid and I felt like the more I walked towards a house, the farther away the house got from me. And yes, I just used my LSD hallucinations to make a philosophical point about happiness. No fucks given. As the existential philosopher Albert Camus said, and I am pretty sure he wasn't on a LSD at that time, you will never be happy if you continue to search for what happiness consists of. You will never live if you are looking for meaning of life. Or put more simply, don't try. Now I know what you are saying. Mark, this is making my nipples very hard. But what about the Camaro I have been saving up for? What about the beach body I have been starving myself for? After all, I paid a lot of money for that ab machine. What about the big house on the lake I have been dreaming of? Or if I stop giving fuck about those things, well, then I will never achieve anything. I don't want that to happen, do I? So glad you asked. Ever notice that sometimes when you care less about something, you do better at it? Notice how it often the person who is least invested in the success of something that actually end up achieving it. Notice how sometimes when you stop giving a fuck, everything seems to fall into place. What's with that? What's an interesting about the backwards law is that it's called backwards for a reason. Not giving a fuck towards the not giving a fuck works in reverse. If pursuing the positive is negative, then pursuing the negative generates the positive. The pain you perceive in a gym results in a better all-round health and energy. The failures in a business are what lead a better understanding of what's necessary to be successful. Being open with your insecurity paradoxically makes you more confident and charismatic around others. The pain of honest confrontation which generates the greatest trust and respect in your relationships. Suffering through your fears and anxieties is what allows you to build courage and perseverance. Seriously, I could keep going on, but you get the point. Everything worthwhile in a life is won through summoning, surmounting the associated negative experience. Any attempt to expense the negative, to avoid it, or quash it, or silence it, only backfires. The avoidance of a suffering is a form of suffering. The avoidance of a struggle is a struggle. The denial of a failure is a failure. Hiding what's shameful itself is a form of a shame. The pain is inextricable thread in a fabric of a life, and to tear it out is not only impossible but destructive. Attempting to tear it out unravels everything else with it. To try to avoid pain is give more many fucks about the pain. In contrast, if you are able to give not a fuck about the pain, you become unstoppable. In my life, I have given a fuck about many things. I have also not given a fuck about many things. And I like the road not taken. It was the fucks not given that made all the difference. The chances are you know somebody in your life who at a one time or another did not give a fuck and then went to accomplish the amazing feats. Perhaps there was a time in your own life when you simply did not give a fuck and excelled to some extraordinary height. For myself, quitting my day job in a finance after the 6 weeks to start the internet business ranks pretty high up there in my own didn't give a fuck Hall of Fame. The same with deciding to sell most of my possessions and move to the South America. Fucks given, none. Just went and did it. These moments of non-fuckery are the moments that most define your values. The major switch in careers, the spontaneous choice to drop out of a college, join the rock band, the decision to finally dump the deadbeat boyfriend whom you caught wearing your penthouse a few times, pretty few times, many times, not to give up, to stare down the life's most terrifying and difficult challenges and still take the action. While not giving fuck may seem the simple on the surface, it the whole new back of Eurytos Eurytos sounds awesome. So let just go with it. Most of us struggle throughout our lives by giving too many fucks in situations where fucks do not deserve to be given. We give too many fucks about the rude gas station attendant who gave us our change in nickels. We give too many fucks when a show we liked was cancelled on TV. We give too many fucks when our coworkers don't bother asking us about our awesome weekend. Meanwhile, our credit cards are maxed out. Our dog hates that Junior is snorting meth in the bathroom, yet we are get pissed off about the nickels and everybody loves the Raymond. Look, this is how it works. You are going to die one day. I know that's kind of obvious. But I just wanted to remind you in a case you had forgotten. You and everyone you know are going to dead soon. And in short amount of a time between here and there, you have a limited amount of fucks to give. Very few in fact. And if you go around and giving a fuck about everything and everyone about conscious thought or choice, well then you are going to get fucked. There is a subtle art to not giving a fuck. And though the concept may sound ridiculous, I may sound like asshole, what I'm talking about here is essentially learning how to focus and prioritize your thoughts effectively, how to pick and choose what matters to you and what does not matter to you based on finely honed personal values. This is incredibly difficult. It takes a lifetime of practice and discipline to achieve, and yet you will regularly fail. But it perhaps the most worthy struggle one can undertake in one's life. It is perhaps the only struggle in one's life. Because when you give too many fucks, you give a fuck about everyone and everything, you will feel that you are perpetually entitled to be comfortable and happy at all times. That everything is supposed to be just exactly the fucking way you want to be. This is sickness and it will eat you alive. You will see the every adversity as an injustice and every challenge as a failure and every inconvenience as a personal slight and every disagreement as a betrayal. You will be fine, confined to your own pretty skull-sized hell, burning with entitlement and bluster, running circles around your own personal feedback loop from the hell in a constant motion, yet arriving nowhere. Subtle art of not giving a fuck. What? When most of the people envision giving no fucks whatever, they imagine kind of a civilian indifference to the everything. A calm that weathers all storms. They imagine aspire to be a person who is shaken by nothing and caves into no one. There is a name of a person who finds no emotion or meaning in anything. Psychopath. Why would you want to emulate a psychopath? I have no fucking clue. So, what does not giving a fuck mean? Let's look at the three sub sub subtleties that would help to clarify the answer. Subtlety. First, not giving a fuck does not mean being indifferent. It means being comfortable with being different. Let's be clear. There is absolutely nothing admirable or confident about Indifference. People who are indifferent are lame and scared. They couch potatoes and internet trolls. In fact, indifferent people often attempt to be indifferent because in reality they give too many fucks. They give the fuck about what everyone thinks of their hair, and so they never bother washing or combing it. They give a fuck about what everything thinks about their ideas. So they hide their sarcasm and self-righteous snark, and they are afraid to let anyone get close to them. So they imagine themselves such as a special unique snowflake who has a problems that nobody else would ever understand. Indifferent people are afraid of a word and repercussion of their own choices. That's why they don't make any meaningful choices. They hide in a grey, emotionless pit of their own making, self-absorbed, self-pitying, perpetually distracting themselves from unfortunate thing demanding their time and energy called life. Because here is a sneaky truth about life. There is no such a thing as not giving a fuck. You must give a fuck about something. It is the part of your biology to always take care about something and therefore to always give a fuck. The question then, what do we give fuck about? What are our what are we choosing to give a fuck about, and how can we not give a fuck about what ultimately does not matter? My mother was recently screwed out of a large chunk of her money by the close friend of hers. Had been indifferent, I would have been struck my shoulders, sipped my mocha, and downloaded another season of The Wire. Sorry, ma. But instead, I was indignant and I was pissed off. I said, "No, screw that, mom. We are going to the lawyer and fuck up and go after that asshole. Why? Because I don't give a fuck. I will ruin this guy's life if I had to." This illustrates the first subtlety of not giving a fuck when we say, "Damn, watch out, Mark Manson, just don't give a fuck." We don't mean the Mark Manson doesn't care about anything. On the contrary, we mean that Mark Manson doesn't care about adversity in the face of his goals. He don't care about pissing some people off to do what he feels right or important or noble. We mean that Marcus is the type of guy who would write about himself in the third person just because he thought it was the right thing to do. He just doesn't give a fuck. This is what's so admirable. No, not me, dumbass. The overcoming the adversity stuff, the willingness to be indifferent, an outcast, pariah, all the sake of one's own value. The willingness to stare the failure in the face and show your middle finger back at it. The people who doesn't give a fuck about adversity or failure, embarrassing themselves or shitting the bed a few times. The people who just laugh and then do what they believe in anyway because they know it's right. They know it's more important than they are, more important than their own feelings and their own pride and their own ego. They said, fuck it, not to everything in a life, but rather to the everything unimportant in a life. They reserve their fucks for what truly matters friends, family, purpose, burritos, and occasional lawsuits or two. Because of that, because they reserve their fucks only for the big things that matter, the people give fuck about them in return. Because here is another sneaky little truth about life. You can't be an important and life changing presence for some people without also being a joke and embarrassment to the others. You just can't because there is no such a thing as a lack of adversity. It doesn't exist. The old saying goes that no matter where you go, there you are. Well, the same is true for the adversity and failure. No matter where you go, there is a 500 pound of load of a shit waiting for you, and that's perfectly fine. The point isn't to get away with the shit. The point is to find the shit you enjoy dealing with. Subtly too. Not to give a fuck about adversity. You must first give a fuck about something more important than adversity. Imagine you are at a grocery store, you watch an elderly lady scream at a cashier, beating him for not accepting her 30-cent coupon. Why does this lady give a fuck? It's just a 30 cents. I will tell you why. That lady probably doesn't have anything better to do with her days than to sit at a home cutting out the coupons. She's old and lonely. Her kids, dickheads, never visit. She hasn't had a sex in over 30 years. She hasn't fought without extreme lower back pain. Her pension is on its last legs, and she's probably going to die in a diaper thinking she's a candy gland. So she snips coupons. That's all she got. It's her and her damn coupons. It's all she can give a fuck about because there is nothing else to give fuck about more. So when that pimply faced 17-year-old cashier refuses to accept one of them, when he finds or defends his cashier's purity the way knights used to defend maidens' virginity, you can bet the granny is going to erupt. And the 80 years of works will remain down all at once, like a fiery hailstorm of black in my day, and the people used to show more respect stories. The problem with the people who hand out works like ice cream at a goddamn summer summer camp is that they don't have anything more fuckworthy to dedicate their fucks to. If you find yourself consistently giving too many fucks about trivial shit that bothers you, your girlfriend's or boyfriend's new Facebook picture, how quickly the batteries die in a TV remote, then missing out on yet another two or more sale hand sanitizer chances are you don't have much going in your life to give the legitimate fuck about. And that's the real problem. Not the hand sanitizer, not the TV remote. I heard an artist to say that when the person has no problems, the mind automatically find a way to invent some. I think the most of the people, especially educated, pampered, middle class white people, and consider about the life problems are just the side effects of not having anything more important to worry about. It is then follows the something important and meaningful in a life is perhaps the most productive use of your time and energy. Because if you don't find the meaningful something, your fucks will be given more meaningless and frivolous causes. Certainly, three. Whether you realize it or not, you are always choosing what to give a fuck about. The people aren't just born, but giving fuck. In fact, we are born giving way too many fucks. Ever watch a kid cry? People aren't just born not giving a fuck. In fact, we are born giving too many fucks. Okay. Ever watch a kid cry? His eyes out because his hat is wrong shade of a blue. Exactly. Fuck that kid. When you are young, everything is new and exciting. Everything seems to matter so much. Therefore, we give ton of fucks. We give a fuck about everything and everyone. About the when the people are saying about us, about whether that boy is or girl is cute, call us back or not, whether our socks match or not, what color of what birthday balloon is. As we get older, with the benefit of experience and having seen so much time slip by, we begin to notice that most of these sort of the things have little lasting impact on our lives, right? Those people whose opinions we cared about so much before are no longer present in our lives. Rejections that are painful in the moment have actually worked out for the best.